Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, Bambi Reads Books. My name is Amanda, or my nickname Bambi, and I am going to talk to you about the week 3 wrap-up for the reading game, the reviews that I read this week, the intro to week 4, as well as something new that I'm going to be picking up, some annotating goodies. I have some highlighters, pens, and some of these sticky notes. I'm really excited to try them. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first week here with me, I'm going to let you know this year I'm doing reading sprints, but decided by the dice. So that decides how many minutes and how many sprints every day we have to do, and each day gets its own roll. So each day I will roll the dice and then we'll make a chart for the whole week saying Monday through Saturday is required, and then if you don't, you can do Sunday or not. You can either read or don't read. Sunday is a bonus day so that you can bank that extra time for another week where you weren't able to finish. So what you want to do is you want to read all of the sprints. It doesn't matter which day, just you have from Monday to Saturday to get the whole thing done, and then Sunday the fines come out. Fines are like punishment, so if for every hour that you didn't read, you're going to add another book to the TBR pile. So last week I think I ended up adding 5 or 6 books to my TBR pile, and the first week I think I added 4. This week I got smart and listened to an audiobook and knocked out like 6 hours. So I say audiobooks count. It's maybe try audiobooks, you guys, if it seems like a lot, because it is a lot sometimes. So I'm going to roll the dice for those, and then I'm going to talk about my new art project, which is annotating. So I'm pretty excited to start trying some of that and make it more aesthetic, because I've just been using like these plastic tabbies and it's just not that pretty, and I'm excited to play with that. So a little outlet for the art. I'm excited. So the reviews that I've read, well, I guess we should start with the reading wrap-up. So my reading time, the total reading time for this week, 13 hours and 40 minutes. So the total reading time for week 3 was 13 hours and 40 minutes, and there was a 30-minute bonus for Sunday. So if you could read Sunday, you get to bank the 30 minutes. So, and what happens with the bank, I don't know if I explained this to you, but I will explain it to you, especially for everybody who's new. So what happens is you read all the time, you don't have to add any books, hopefully your TBR is going down, and you're like, hey, bring it on, what's the next set of reading, right? That's if everything goes great. If you miss an hour, or 2 hours, or 3 hours, you have to add a book for each hour that you missed. And say you missed an hour and 20 minutes, you can't cash in 20 minutes for a whole book, so you're going to put the 20 minutes as a minus in the bank. But if you had read Sunday the 30 minutes, you only have you have a positive 10 in there, right? Because 30 subtract your negative 20 would be 10. So you'll carry that all through. So hopefully, like if you're saving it up, it would be like sick time for reading. So Sundays are bonus time, so you gotta bank it. I banked my 30 minutes. I read everything. I did do 6 hours of an audiobook because this last Saturday was 6 1-hour sprints, and that's really tough. So audiobooks, I'm not against them, you guys. Here are the fines. So if you missed 1 hour of reading, you have to pick a book with a red cover. If you missed 2 hours of reading, you're going to finish your current book. So the last book you read, you have a book freeze until you finish that book. You don't get to read any other book. Finish the one you just picked up last. 3 hours is Magical Element. Number 4 is a book with a boat. Number 5 is a book from Kindle Unlimited. Number 6 is a time period you'd like to visit. 7 hours is short stories. 8 hours is a book with a plant. 9 hours is historical fiction. 10 hours is a memoir. 11 hours is a 4-star rated book. 12 is a top rated romance, and 13 hours is set in another country. So it's not like, oh, I missed 13 hours, I just take 13. No, you have to take 1 through 13. If you missed all 13 hours, you're adding 13 books to your list that you have to read. There's no losing. It's supposed to, like, yeah, you're gonna lose. The pressure's on. The pressure's on. I'm letting you watch me suffer. It's okay. We're gonna suffer together. It's good. It's growing. It is growing. So that is the wrap up for week 3. I have no fines. I'm not adding anything to my TBR. It is rather large as it is, so I'm a little bit excited to continue on with taking that down. So the reviews that I got to finish this week, I listened to the audiobook The Witches of Eastwick by John Updike, and I gave it 2 stars. It was very wordy. I really thought it was going to be like a magical realism book. It was not. It's about 4 divorced women who are finding themselves, so, which is fine, do that. But it's just odd because they're like passing all the men around in town, like, oh, so-and-so's wife is awful, when he spends time with me we do this, or when he spends time with me he tells me this, and I'm just like, whoa, like, whoa. And then this rich guy moves in to like fix up a mansion cottage, it's like a mansion, did a bunch of crazy things to it, and he's like, come up and play. Well, the synopsis says that, so I thought they were gonna have like an herb garden, or or like practice spells. No, it's like a little mini Playboy mansion. So I gave it 2 stars because, oh, and some of like the spicy scenes were cringe. Like, man, just it's odd. It is odd. Sorry. 2 stars. The next one that I read was The Dragon's Bride by Katie Robert. So The Dragon's Bride is about this lady named Brer who has a very abusive husband, and she ends up making a deal with a demon. I believe his name is Azrael, and he puts her into like a kind of like an auction to be kind of like a mail order bride for 7 years in exchange for not having to be with her husband anymore. So he takes her to a monster realm, gives her to the dragon man, the half dragon, half man. He's this way because in his family, sometimes they have humans, sometimes they have dragons, sometimes they just have 2 dragons. But I guess like they can conduct the magic in the realms better through human like DNA, so it's better if they have a baby that is with a human. And she's like, not so much, because any baby that she has to leave in that realm when she goes back in 7 years. So the whole time Saul is trying to woo her and change her mind. And that is all I'm going to say. It is a crazy, spicy ride. So I gave this one 4 stars and 4 peppers. Katie Robert did it again. The next one is Ollie and the Spores of Oak Hill. This one is by Glenn Somebody, and this one is adorable. It is a cute little fantasy read, and I don't mean little like, I mean like it's punchy, like so cute. These little mushrooms that like have characteristics, and they like to live in sawdust, and like they put flowers around your head when you die, and then like they have like a little mystical moss area that they go to like have their little spore babies, and it's adorable. It is so adorable. And then there's this bad guy who's trying to build a wall, and he's going to take all of their space, and they won't be able to have a colony there anymore. And it's very Avatar sounding, like when they go under the, it's Ollie and the Spores of Oak Hill. Well, there's an oak tree. If you go under where the spores are, they have like little houses, like a little village, and it sounds very Avatar-ish. Like I think there would be like growing moss, and there'd be like tree roots coming down. Like that's just how I pictured it. So I would love to see what the author paints, so I wonder if like, can I see what that looks like? It would be so cool if he made a scene of what that looked like. Maybe he has. I'll have to look through and see. So I definitely enjoyed this book. I gave this book 4 stars, and I'm looking forward to reading. I believe there's going to be 3 total. There might be more. I'll let you know for sure how many there are going to be, but it is a series, and I'm looking forward to reading the second one. So I would definitely recommend this as like a cozy, comfy read, kind of like Legends and Lattes, but like with a mix of trolls and Avatar. I know, it's a fun little smoothie, this book. I loved it. The Vasectomist Trilogy by Tim Eagle. This one's been on my TBR for quite a while, and I haven't gotten to it, and I don't know why. It's only 100 pages, not only, but I mean, it's a quick, enjoyable read for only 100 pages of your time. So it's actually 3 stories, and this has very big 80s horror vibes, like for sure. You know, like when they used to like take a brain out and put it in a jar and the brain would still talk, like kind of like that. But in this, it's like tissue from a pregnancy that the husband didn't want to continue, so he ends up putting the tissue in a jar, and they end up growing into like, I would assume like tremor-like creatures, like wormish like creatures, or maybe leeches, and he feeds them like on his back, like vampire. And then his wife finds out what he's doing, and then she like takes revenge, right? Shh, don't want to ruin it for you. And then like the dude has like a totally different life than what the wife describes, and there's a third party person, and then in the end the wife and her daughter end up like having some cliffhanger moment where they're like, she grabbed her daughter's hand and walked into somewhere, and you're like, what? Tell me more. And then it just, that's all. So it's definitely a teaser, and it's fun and thrilling, and for sure it's more of like a funny haha read than like a scary like, oh my gosh, that's terrifying, because you know it wouldn't happen. It's funny. I like it. Funny and scary at the same, more creepy. So the witches, I believe that was all 4, and then that went by fast. I did that fast. And then Rivers of Wrath is, I read Rivers of Ashes, and that one was back in January, and I do believe I forgot to make a video for the review. So this one is about Bo Deverex. He is kind of a little, like, he's a football star, he's dating a cheerleader, his dad owns half of the businesses, or maybe more, in the town, and he just kind of has everybody in his pocket. But he's got a deep secret where he throws parties at the river, which everybody knows because everybody goes there, but there's this place called the Abbey, and it's like an abandoned monk or abandoned church of some kind, and there's wolves that run around, and apparently like a lady ghost that like haunts the place, and he ends up making like a little love shack in there, but he's very aggressive and rough, and to the point where like he unalives people and SAs people, and nobody would ever expect it because he's like the good football star kid, and at the end he completely just like, we watch him go through it, we do, and then we find out his dad is not loyal to his son. We find out that maybe that myth isn't so much of a myth, and the ending, the plot twist, like the ending, like I did not see it coming. I was emotionally invested, and then that thing happened, and I was like, oh, it's not better, but it's sadder. Like, it was, for somehow the ending that you thought was happening was not as sad as what really happened. So that's enough of a spoiler for you. So after posting some of those YouTube videos, then Instagram, the publishing company, and Alexandria West reached out and sent me a signed copy of the second book, Rivers of Wrath, the St. Benedict series. There will be 5 books in the series, and this is book 2. I did also read a letter that the author wrote about how she could write a book that was so detailed with essay as a woman, and like how she could go into something so graphic and feel comfortable writing something like that. And she went through and said that she's really trying to raise awareness for survivors and for victims so that they feel safer to come forward and ask for help and come forward and admit that that happened, because a lot of people have shame on it. And she does quote a lot of stats in there about school counselors, kind of the amount that is reported and the amount that they assume is not reported. And then they're like, see, if we put it on a global scale, how important is it? So she's really doing this to bring awareness to an issue, and she says that she believes that film and books are the quickest way to get the word out, more than newspapers or even literature that is more textual. So I will post a link to that if I don't just clip the whole thing here, so that you can see what she said. I thought it was very genuine and honest, honestly, and I could relate to the feeling, and I do believe that what she's saying is true, and it's pretty sad. And I think a lot of men don't realize how big of a threat it really is. I think even a lot of women don't realize that. So anyways, that was a trigger book. Look up the triggers. I did give this one 5 stars. The first one, Rivers of Ashes, 5 stars. I did like it. So those were my reviews for week 3 and for the one that I missed in January. So altogether, that would be 5 books for the year, which is not great. I think I need to get on it. So I'm going to be doing better on the reading for sure. I'm going to be doing 2 long reading sprint videos on YouTube every week. I'm going to try and have them for Wednesdays and Fridays. But, you know, it'll just be sometime between Monday and Friday they'll post until I get more of the schedule down. I'm just trying to get a rhythm and juggle everything still, because I'm still new at this, but I think we're having a lot of fun. I think this is fun. I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm just trying to deliver what I'm promising, because I'm learning. So the intro to week 4, which is the week that we are on, we're going to go ahead and do the rolls. Roll the dice for Monday through Sunday, and come back and talk about what I plan on reading for the week. And I'd love to know what you guys are reading. I'd love to know what your balance sheets look like. How many books have you read this year for your Goodreads? Because I'm definitely behind on mine. So let me know, guys, what are you reading? How's the reading sprint? Is it fun? Are you enjoying it? Is it just fun to watch me suffer? That's okay too. I don't mind. You want to watch me like make myself cry? That's okay. Like it may happen, because if this stack had doubled in size this week, if I had thought about the Audible book, I may be in a little bit of tears in the background, like, for sure. So, wish me luck. I wish you luck. And let's welcome week 4 for 2023. Okay guys, so those are the roles for week 4, and I'm going to go ahead and go over my TBR, read you some synopsises of some books that I'm hoping to get read this week. I picked the ones that have been on my TBR the longest, and the ones that I've been sent most recently, so I can stay ahead and catch up at the same time, because there's been a couple authors that have been waiting for me for a little while now. So, one for a book tour on Instagram is Immortal Cells by Trollin Puxty, I believe. Here's a synopsis for Immortal Cells. After successfully avoiding arrest for centuries, a selfless act lands the tall immortal in prison, where inmates are fed poison and drained of blood. It's the ultimate punishment for any monstrosity who refuses to abide by an existential expiry date. But then the impossible happens. An immortal dies, defying all known logic. As Maylin navigates life through the prison, she must come to terms with her destiny, a destiny that will alter the fate of the immortals forever. That looks amazing and scary, and I'm getting Underworld vibes. I know I always say vibes, but like I do compare stories to other stories to be like, what's similar? I just do that. I think everybody just does that. So I'm excited to read that. That's for a book tour, so that one's due on Wednesday. I'll have it up Tuesday night. Another one that I'm embarrassed that I have not finished is Hag of the Hill. I read it once, and then I was going through and trying to annotate it, and I only got about halfway through, and I really want to write a very detailed review. So this is number 1 after the book tour, Hag of the Hills. It is going to happen this week, no excuses. Number 1 priority after the book tour. I'm so sorry, JTT writer. It's not that your writing's not good, I'm just lazy. I'm really sorry. The next one is Balanced and Barefoot by Angela J. Hanscom. This one, I've actually got this book when I was homeschooling my kids because they both seem to like to take their shoes off outside, and they're mud babies. I was like, what is that? And I found this book that teaches you kind of how to, well, today is rare to find children rolling down grassy hills or climbing trees just for fun. We've taken away merry-go-rounds and teeter-totters to keep kids safe, and as children's lives become more virtual via TV, smartphones, and computer screens, teachers are noticing a decrease in attention. The doctors are reporting an alarming increase in sensory and emotional disorders. So how can you ensure your child is fully engaging their body, mind, and all of their senses? And Balanced and Barefoot, Angela Hanscom, a pediatric occupational therapist and founder of Timbernook, shines a light on the silent epidemic affecting modern children, explaining why unrestrained movement and outdoor play are vital for children's cognitive and physical development, and even offer fun engagement strategies to help ensure that kids grow in a healthy balance into healthy, balanced, and resilient adults. And I haven't read it, and I bought this a long time ago, so I'm looking forward to reading this. That's number 2. Then we have Come True, a Bomb ASS Genie romance by Brindy Quinn. I have seriously this much of this book. There's no excuse. I'll finish this tonight. I don't know. So that is Come True by Brindy Quinn, and I've already done the synopsis for this, so I'll read the synopsis when I give the review, just for a refresher. I don't want to make the video so long that it's unbearable. The Pearl Diver by Jeff Tallergo. I am 61 pages in, and it's about a 240-page book, so getting there. I did enjoy this one. It's just that I borrowed this one from the library, and nobody's really waiting on me to read it. It was just like a pleasure read kind of thing. And I did do a little research on what leprosy is and how you get it, so there is a small video if you want to watch that, because it just, sometimes I research things that are in stories that I don't understand, because it just helps me enjoy the story more if I have a little bit more background information. And they can't put all the background information in every book, so I understand that. I will do my own research sometimes. And that is why I wasn't trying to be creepy. I just didn't know a lot about it, and I wanted to know, and I thought I could share. So I'll link that one in the bottom as well if you'd like to watch that one. Another one that was sent to me, which actually I felt so... I emailed the book tour, and I was like, I didn't get a copy of that book, so she sent me a digital copy, and then the neighbor comes over with a package. Like, she's like, hey, this was sitting on my bookshelf, and it has your name on it. It's been sitting here for 3 weeks. So, I have it now. Best Practices, Encouraging Confidence in Relationship Building by Bianca Clark. And this one looks fun. In the book, I believe it's about 100 pages or just under 100 pages. It's 57 pages. That's including the glossary. So I'm excited to read this. This should be a quick read. And I think this may be one of the first ones that I annotate because the colors are so pretty, and then I can practice because it's smaller, you know? And I think that this is, because it seems like a self-help self-improvement, do we call it self-improvement book, that there's probably a lot to highlight and to talk about. So that's another one I'd like to read this week. And then of course Rivers of Wrath by Alexandra Rest and Lucas Astor. This is the second book to the St. Benedict series. I'd like to read this one. I do know that the third one should be coming out. I don't know if it's this, I believe it's this year. I'll look up the date and let you know. Put it here. This is the third one. And I want to be ready, so I'm going to go ahead and read this one, especially since they were so nice to send it to me. I want to make sure that they know I appreciate it and I'm reviewing it. So these are the ones I'm going to try to read this week. All of them, I'd like to finish them, plus the ebook for the book tour. And if I finish these, I will go ahead and dive into more of these. I really want to read Witch Please and The Cove. Those are ones that I really want to read. So if I finish all these books and I don't have time this week, those are definitely kind of first up for me for next week. So I'm excited. I'm actually getting so much done. Like, usually I'm so overwhelmed that I just don't know what to pick up. It's definitely like doing this week by week instead of for the whole month has helped me quite a bit. So let me know if it's helping you. Let me know if you're going to be playing this week with me, and let me know what you're reading. How many reviews did you do yet this year? Because I only have 5, and for 3 months that's not. I'm doing it though. It's okay. I'm gonna add these ones hopefully this week. So thank you guys for visiting with me. I will have a little annotating video. I'm going to probably just do the ones that I'm planning on reading this week besides the library book, and just play with my sticky notes and my pens and see like what I can do, like how pretty can I make them, and then I'll share pictures and some little videos of those throughout the week too. I'm just excited to have kind of more of a creative little outlet. I tried a book journal, but I didn't get the right book, and so like it got so big that I couldn't put any pages in it, so that's half done. I'm probably going to cut the pages out and put it into a proper book when I get one, and then just like continue. So that's on hold, but I am really excited about annotating some books and showing you guys, because it is something I really enjoy, and I feel like I'll be able to share a lot more valuable quotes and more of my thoughts as I read. I do my best to put it all on the blog as I read, like a reading blog, and I try and type on the website as I'm doing it, www.bambireads.com. However, sometimes I don't, and I think that if I wrote it in the book, obviously it would be there, right? And I honestly love reading books that other people have written in, because I'm excited. So I've been annotating books, and I have this beautiful copy of Rivers of Wrath that I was sent to by the publisher and Alexandria West, one of the authors, and I got these really pretty tabs in, and I've seen other bloggers, and I've seen it on Pinterest, where they match the colors to the book. And I even have pens, and I have a pencil, and I have a bunch of these pens that don't bleed through, so I am going to try and make an aesthetic annotated book and see if I can. And it sounds really fun and like crafty to me, so I'm excited. I know the color wheel is excessive, but like I'm probably going to use it.